When people are asked about their favorite sci-fi film, it's always the same. Traditional fans would say it's Star Wars, people who lean towards horror would go for Aliens, pretentious fans would choose Dune, but no one talks about this one specific film. I'm talking about Joseph Kosinski's 2013 film, Oblivion. Since I was a kid, I wasn't a big fan of science fiction. That was until I saw this movie for the first time. By the end of the film, my mind was blown. It was the type of science fiction that I was looking for. Now, what do I mean by that? Most sci-fi stories like to stretch out its world, showing so much stuff about its universe to its audience. Some would say too much stuff would be shown to the audience. The family lineage, the politics. God, sci-fi writers love politics. Different races, alliances, cultural differences, different planets, different biomes and languages and weapons and chosen ones. It was too much, at least for me, which is why I found it hard to be invested in the Star Wars lore. And I think a lot of it is because of the inconsistency in its setting. Most successful sci-fi films, hell, even films in general, have a consistent setting. Even a child could appreciate consistency. It makes things easy to watch. This is one of Oblivion's strongest points. The film was consistent throughout its entire course, and it's not just in its setting, but also in its theme. The film takes place in a post-apocalyptic Earth, and throughout the film, we feel that we're in this post-apocalyptic Earth. We follow the main protagonist, Jack, and his partner Victoria as human technicians responsible for guarding and maintaining these large platforms that converts seawater into fusion energy. They are also assisted by Sally, who is in charge of control systems from the space station called TET. Eventually, the plot progresses as Jack gets involved with the Scavengers, a group of alien species that humans supposedly went to war with and is now inhabiting the Earth, while the rest of humanity migrated to Titan, one of Saturn's moons. The consistency in this sense is with the pacing of the movie. Stakes become high when the plot needs it, but it's not afraid of slowing down and letting the viewer savor the limited but sophisticated ambience of its setting. It just feels right. The film has multiple plot twists throughout its story. It's gonna be hard to talk about without spoiling it, so this is your warning. So the plot started getting interesting when Jack discovers a NASA shuttle that crashed on Earth, which apparently was carrying 5 humans in sleeping pods, including a woman named Julia, who we learn later on was Jack's actual wife. She was the woman that Jack kept seeing in his dreams, which was kind of a cliche, but I'm willing to forgive it. They were later on captured by the Scavenger aliens, who are actually revealed to be humans. Morgan Freeman! Turns out the war between the aliens and humans was a lie. It was more of a one-sided massacre. Humans, or at least what was left of them, fled underground to survive. They were branded as the Scavengers, where they were hunted by the TET's killer drones. The TET, which we thought was a space station for humans, was actually an AI alien ship that was extracting Earth's resources. The TET destroyed the moon and then invaded the Earth with thousands of Jack clones. Yes, Jack, the protagonist, was actually a clone. The original Jack was the commander of a 2017 NASA mission to Titan. Victoria was his co-pilot, Julia, his wife, was a crew member, and Sally was the Earth mission director. During the mission, a mysterious object, which we now know as TET, appeared in space. Before the ship was completely swallowed, Jack ejected the control capsule to save the crew members in their stasis pods, and then he and Victoria were swallowed by the TET and then cloned. The TET took Sally's image and likeness and used it as a disguise to command the clones on Earth. At surface, it may seem like the story is a complicated, post-apocalyptic, and futuristic twist of a survival of a species, a human revolution, per se, against the TET. But what the story is really about at its heart is a love story. A love story between Jack and Julia. Love stories are the oldest form of narrative. Most notable works throughout history were, at its heart, love stories. Even before science fiction was invented, people were writing love stories. Every human can relate to love. It is the strongest plot device as much as it is the oldest. But Oblivion wasn't all about its love story. Sure, it's the core of the entire plot, but there were also other plot points outside of that. The survival of humans, the mystery of Tet, the infiltration mission to fly a ship with a nuclear reactor explosive to destroy the Tet, and on top of that, the soundtrack. A stellar performance by M83. It really makes you feel like you're on a far futuristic world. It perfectly complements the movie's epic visuals and aesthetics. I remember seeing the inside of the Tet and was like, whoa, this looks like an alien spaceship, and it feels like I'm in this alien spaceship with the protagonist as he flies further and further into the unknown, which is the center of the Tet. It's like the movie is one big onion of all the good things I look for in science fiction. The story gets right into it, not of the useless pondering dialogues. It feels like the plot happened within its own existing world, without the need to flesh it out by filling it with all the unnecessary scenes with different locations. Oblivion is a movie where simplicity meets art. It is a simple story of a man who slowly uncovers the truth of his world and slowly remembers the love of his life.